Well, we finish our week as Southend United with a huge triple header across three competitions, three tough opponents, all fairly tightly matched, and it may well end up defining our season. Yes, hello, and welcome along to part 123 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. Our triple header today consists of Bayern Munich, a side we managed in the head coach with some difficulty earlier this year in FM24. We also then face Newcastle away in the Premier League, who are just 4 points behind us with 14 played, and then a side level top with us in the Premier League in Arsenal, away from home in another desperately difficult Carabao Cup draw. So three games that will be season defining purely because we may be struggling in competitions and out of one if we don't pick up results. If you're looking forward to seeing if we do, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Interesting to note that as well as Luis Vasquez still being out, Teddy Ivanov is now our top scorer for the year with 9. We've normally got a couple well into double figures by this point. We're not quite as comfortable as we have been in the Champions League. We're not quite as comfortable in the Premier League as last year. And of course, with the FA Cup to come as well, we've got to start worrying about rotating with 4 competitions in quick succession. Let's start by having a look at the schedule though. We have drawn West Ham at home in the FA Cup third round. West Ham are top of the Championship at the minute. But since you were last with me, draws and victories have been aplenty, but there have been a couple of frustrating results in the Premier League. We've not been free-flowing, we've not been dominant. You were with me as we faced Manchester United and Manchester City, and actually did pretty well in those games. The good defensive record had continued up until the last match, as had the unbeaten run, but we've not been winning all of them or convincingly. We did win very comfortably at home to Spurs in the Champions League, thanks to Bernberg, Robertson, Herbert and Teddy Ivanov off the bench. Kranjic was the first scorer when we played Fulham the weekend after. Aguiman and Jimenez got one each too, and Lewis Herbert with another brace, becoming one of the key goal threats in the team, as many of you have noticed in the comments. Then we had to labour to a 1-1 draw away at Brighton, where we were fortunate to equalise late on. Joe Wills saved the day there in the 86th minute, but to be honest, it was a pretty poor performance. At home to Napoli, we won by 1-0 as Teddy Ivanov, again off the bench, was the hero, before a 3-0 win at home to West Brom, thanks to Kranjic, Adamson and Herbert. We then won 4-1 at Bristol City, a really poor side, 2 for Kranjic and 2 for Teddy Ivanov, before Ashley Carr finally got back on the score sheet at home to Spurs, where him and Ivo Torres got us back on terms before the break, but we weren't able to push on in the second half, and in truth, if it weren't for Jude Sadler, we would have lost by a lot more. Let's start by having a look at the fixtures then, because there are 3 games to play and we need to focus on them. Southend v Bayern Munich is the first of the triple header, and we'll be back in a minute to pick the team for it. Well, it is another one of the calculated gambles, and it is largely due to fitness problems, if I'm being honest with you. We've got a huge number of players out at the moment, and the main reason for that is that we've got fatigue. We've been playing every 3 or 4 days. You can see Ryan Adamson, the only fit left winger, not fit to play today, with Vasquez injured as well. And it does mean we've taken a few gambles to try and reduce the match load around the squad. That means our 11 for today is Jude Sadler in goal, Memic and De Angelis the fullbacks, with Herbert and Rakowski the first choice centre halves. Robertson, Ivo Torres slightly back to fitness alongside Kivrakidis, and Teddy Ivanov playing off the left wing. We'll push him forward in a moment. Behind Kranjic and Joe Wills up front, the duo who have not really got going this year. Joe Wills has scored 5 in 17. Leon Kranjic has scored 7 in 18. Not the start to the season we were hoping for, and they both start putting it right today. Well, 2 changes for a Bayern Munich team that at this stage has no sign of any originals, as you may expect. They have on the bench got David Jimenez, who is rated the best right back in world football. They've still got Nagelsmann in charge again. And it should be worth noting as well, they've got a full bench, something that we couldn't produce when we were in charge of Bayern under the Director of Football's model. So let's tell the boys to prove a point. Let's get Teddy Ivanov playing in this sort of weird hybrid role on the left wing. We'll get him as an inside forward on attack. We'll get him supporting in the front too. And hopefully having 3 players up there give us a chance to score goals. Certainly might make us vulnerable at the other end though. Well, 5 minutes on the clock and we're back with the ball bobbling around in our own box, but Kivrakidis gets it away for Joe Wills, and it looks like it's going to turn into our counter. Jorg Robertson gets a fortunate deflection. He's then fouled. Please don't be an injury, but Kranjic still has the chance to cross, and Teddy Ivanov hits the bar. Robertson might be in trouble. There's no sign of an actual injury, but it was a very cynical late challenge. We're fortunate if we get away with it because we know Yokolano's injury prone out there. The last thing we need is Robertson out. As here come Bayern Munich. They're on the attack. Not sure why I've called them Brian, but there we go. As Sanduka gets into the box. Chance to cross. Rakowski away. Only as far as the edge. What a volley that is. First time from Rahman. Almost finds the back of the net. Sadler happy to see it bounce over. As we now go for a free kick at the other end. Lots of early chances here. Joe Wills down for De Angelis. He's lost possession again. We look really vulnerable here when we lose it, but Teddy Ivanov works back. Torres gets the ball in the middle. Chance to shoot. Torres goes alone and then puts it wide. And that's the one problem with him not passing to the front two. He's not the same quality of finisher. But we can't complain too much. It's been a positive start as Kranic works down the right. Considering we've rotated in certain areas, this is good. Robertson on the edge of the box. Back to Ivo Torres. Blocked into the 6-yard box. Down for Kivrakidis. And it's still in the opposition third. They can't get out. Torres goes back to Memic, who might look for the cross. Instead, turns back, finds Torres again. Supporting the box from 2 or 3 strikers, but plays short to Ivanov. And Kivrakidis forced out to Torres again. Just looking for that opening. I think it's offside. Teddy Ivanov gets in. It's the most delightful finish. We're not even checking it. It's a goal. Who was playing him onside? It looked off to me. I mean, it's a glorious Teddy Ivanov goal. That left wing position, he's really working well. I'll be honest though, I have no idea why the goal counted. With 20 gone though, I'm not going to complain. Well, half an hour on the clock. It's Amsfeld who's got the ball for Bayern as they're pressing in our half. Then Dembele forced back to the keeper though as we press them well. And Osborne able to get the ball out to the left-hand side. But again, Robertson forcing them back. That's really good. But it only takes one moment for us to have our shape broken and to then be under trouble again as Ali Burke gets it into midfield to Rahman. Through to Helscher. Lovely turn that. He did De Angelis inside out. Gets to the byline on the right. Back to Sanduka. Cuts to Rahman. He's had one close call already. It's hit the woodwork again. Mora loses it second time to Memic. And we've survived the trial by woodwork for the second time from Rahman. 10 to the break. We stay 1-0 up. But we are living pretty dangerously here. We've got a chance though with a throw on the right to push down the other end. We lose possession from it though. Not sure why Memic ran inside straight after because he didn't offer a passing option. Rakowski now playing out to him. It's inside to Kivrakidis. We've worked out of here well. We're still not clear of the danger yet. Jorg Robertson cuts inside. Good football to find Joe Wills. Back to Herbert and now Kivrakidis. Wide to the left for De Angelis. Space to run into again. There's 2 in the middle. Surprised Ivanov's not gone in as well. Kranic loses out. Ivo Torres gets it back. He's done well considering he wasn't that fit before this game. Into Ivanov. Shot's brilliantly saved. Anthony Gomez does so well in goal. Deserves massive credit for that. 1-0 at the break. We've been really good. But is it over yet? Are we going to get it? Memic wins the ball back on halfway. There's 2 minutes added on. And we're into them now. Herbert forced back to the goalkeeper. We're taking our time. Certainly no rush to get it forward. Sadler finds Herbert who can do just that. Now Kivrakidis. Oh, not the best pass to Rakowski. We get away with it. Torres again, much the same. We do work out. And now Ivanov has got Wills and Kranic making a run. It's tight for offside. He's put it in. Now what will VAR deem? Because he was running off the shoulder. It's just whether that pass came quick enough. I think it's all right, but it's not. It's disallowed. 1-0 it remains at the break. Unfortunately, it must have been off by a whisker. Let's get through the dressing room. It's been a great display by our standards. We've had a lot of poorer ones recently, but still we've only scored 1, and that's going to be the problem here. Well, 65 minutes are on the clock, and there are tired legs everywhere, but I've no idea what to do about them. We've got to get one of the strikers off, because otherwise we won't have 2 for the weekend. I could give Ashley Carr a run for Kranic, who's not been great. I could also try and sit on the lead a bit by bringing Roy Curley on for Ivanov on the left and just put him as a sort of winger on support. Ivo Torres is the other one who wasn't recommended to play the full game, so we'll go for Joaquin Jimenez in his position. We have agreed his replacement to be signed in January, but I'm going to save that for the next episode. And if we look in the defensive areas, De Angelis could come off. Robertson could for Yokolano. I might do that one. I'm going to leave the last sub in case of injury. Or later on, I might take off Joe Wills and chuck on a holding midfielder. We've talked about it a few times. As here we are with a free kick again. Dangerous position for Ashley Carr, who seems to be pulling rank overtaking them. Chance to shoot. Don't mind if they're that good. Anthony Gomez makes a great save and he keeps it at 1. Considering this Champions League draw was awful, we're making pretty good work of it so far. De Angelis with the corner. And it's up towards the back post. Lewis Herbert looking to rise just wide. He's been so good for us, but he just can't find a goal now. And Joe Wills is soon going to have to come off, I think. He's really struggling. And we don't have a natural attacking replacement on the bench, so it will have to be a holding midfielder. Sanduka throws into Ali Burke. This will be the last highlight where we have 2 strikers on, unless we concede. Sanduka intercepted by Curley. Brilliant work. Rarely getting football, but taking his chance here. Important to have those players in the squad. Herbert and Kivrakidis playing a 1-2. Herbert into Jimenez. Now Memic. We've switched the play well, but the pass isn't great. Yokolano loses out, but Memic wins it back. Atones for his mistake and charges away down the right. Brilliant work from him towards Ashley Carr. Be a hero, son. He's hit the bar again. He's so unreliable in front of goal. It's unbelievable. Ashley Carr misses another one. I'm going to bring on Vite, the holding midfielder. He'll go in there. Ashley Carr will stay up on his own. And I think with Vite, we might even just put him as an anchor man, which is a natural centre-half, will suit him better. Something I've talked about doing for those away ties from this year, just to see if we can maybe turn our fortunes in the away leg of Champions League knockout games. And this seems the perfect opportunity to test it. Is it worthwhile for holding a lead? Is it able to hold a shape? Doesn't look like it the way we're defending at the minute. Sanduka gets in over the top. Cross in is intercepted by Herbert. De Angelis can bring it away. Been a bit of a thriller for a 1-0 this match. Curley able to break forward, plays inside to Vite. And that's where we've got the extra control, the extra man in midfield. Jimenez to Herbert, can play out. Good ball to the left for Curley. He finds Kivrakidis, looking for that run of Ashley Carr, but it's not coming. So Jimenez turns right and just charges forward himself. Yokolano's in support. It's a great ball. Inside the fullback, goes alone. Yokolano straight at the keeper. Ashley Carr's livid. He was holding his hand up in the middle the whole time. And with 5 to go, this game should have been put to bed a long time ago. As it is, though, Bayern have got a chance, and we're getting caught out in wide areas. But Herbert does well. Does look a little more secure, I've got to admit. As Curley breaks through down the left-hand side into Jimenez. Looks for him again, but just goes alone. We've added energy into this team off the bench. Jimenez plays a 1-2 off the defender. Kivrakidis nicks it. Beats another man. Chance to shoot. Plays back to Memic. That's unselfish. Gets to the byline. Across to Ashley Carr. Somehow misses from 2 yards. He's turning back into the old Ashley Carr again. Our expected goals is 3.5. And it is 1-0 to Southend United. It's a vintage performance. It's a scraped result. But how many chances do you want to miss? Carr and Kranic both in awful form. And Carr's rating is a 6.4. Which tells you those 2 chances should have gone in. Back in a moment though to face Newcastle United. The Premier League is next up. And that still has to be the priority. Well, we return for our second game. It's Premier League action, and I've taken a gamble up front. I've left out both of the goal-scoring advance forwards for Ivanov, who's in the better form of the 4, and he is going to be my star striker today, back alongside Joe Wills. We're going back to the old days now. I've also gambled with Bernberg and Kivrakidis, the 2 unhappy boys in midfield, and I've tried to lighten the match load by having no heavy ones in the first 11. That means the likes of Robertson, De Angelis and Torres make do with a place on the bench. The 11 sees these replacements with Jude Sadler in goal. We've also got Carlos in at left back alongside the rest of the back 4 from midweek. Yokolano, Bernberg and Adamson all return to the midfield. 2 of those definitely strengthen us. And Ivanov goes alongside Wills up front with Kranic dropping to the bench. If we look at the Premier League table, there are 4 points between the top 6 prior to this weekend. Arsenal have won their game to put the pressure on the rest of us. So we've basically got to avoid defeat here. You can see it's very tight between everyone down to probably Liverpool. But let's see how it goes away at St James's Park. We've been promised a good striker in the youth intake, which may well take the pressure off these 4. But for now, I need the main 2 to deliver. And Teddy Ivanov, at the moment, is the man. Well, 2 changes made for Newcastle United. Arne Slot, of course, the manager, as we saw in the Community Shield. And Miguel Helguera, very much the problematic player on the left-hand side. We have got the reunion though, haven't we? Because João Gomez is playing at right back today. He is the man we sold to Newcastle just after that Community Shield final. So let's ask the boys to prove a point and get into the first half. I'll take a boring 1-0 win here. But our trips to Newcastle in recent seasons have been amongst the most eventful in the series. We're just 8 on the clock. We've got a free kick with Kivrakidis, which is just sort of floated up into the box. Ivanov gets there second time around. Back to Jan Carlos, who shoots left-footed. And it's a half chance. Not much more than that. We're certainly having a little bit of a threat early on, which is nice. Well, maybe it will finally be a boring trip to St James's until Lewis Herbert gets in on the action. Big old back post header from a corner. And that's the one difference with us in recent years. When we've been playing poorly, we've still got Wills, Kranjic, Herbert, all big men at the back post who can win a header. And at half-time, it's been a poor game. It's been action-free for the most part. We've kept the ball and we're winning until now. It's the 3 minutes of stoppage time have passed, but the corner's been given time to be taken. Headed away by Bernberg. Now the whistle should be going, but it hasn't, and Galaza can cut it back. Don't you let them equalise. Oh, get out of here. Why are we still playing? 1-1 at the break. This couldn't be a game without chaos, could it? Newcastle Southend, it just has to be. 1-1 at half-time as we've conceded after the 3 minutes of added on time. And we're still going from the kickoff as well. We've now played 4 and a bit minutes. Jan Carlos just runs with the ball from the kickoff. Into the box to Ivanov. Oh, he's missed a great chance. Why we're still playing, I don't know. But Jan Carlos, it's like they thought the whistle would go and they just let him run. We're going to prove a point again. We're into the second half. The wide areas are proving fruitful. We're struggling with the set pieces, which we're dealing with again here. Galaza plays short to Helguera. And again, into the box, almost unopposed. Back to Esnaola. And he scored his second of the game. It always happens at this ground. We're not going to get another one of those 4-3s, are we? The bitterly disappointing start to the second half. I'm going to throw some encouragement because the morale wasn't great. But considering there's not many heavy match loads here, I'm a bit worried about the performance. Helguera goes back to Gerardo. I mean, we've seen Newcastle improved under Arne Slot, but they've still got a vulnerability at the back and we need to exploit it. Ivanov, see, he's been a hero off the bench for so long. Hero off the left-hand side in midweek. When you start him up front, none of them are really scoring this season. And that is my biggest worry. As Grayson breaks down the left, Yucalano does well. Finds Bernberg. Can we get out with Wills? Stay on side. Goes out to the left to Adamson instead. Good judgment from Wills. Adamson gets to the byline. Puts in a big cross towards Teddy Ivanov. Headed away as far as Yucalano. Back into Ivanov again. I take back what I said. Teddy Ivanov starts up front. Teddy Ivanov scores. 56 on the clock. It's 2-2. And Newcastle v Southend. I think that's the minimum par. There has to be at least 4 goals. Well, I'm going to make some changes now because it hasn't been the best performance in the world. We're going to take off Kivrakidis on his yellow card and bring on Joaquin Jimenez again. We're going to take off Joe Wills for... Do I go Carr or Kranjic? I still think Kranjic is the more reliable. We'll do them that way round. We're also going to take off 2 of the defenders. Rakoski for Hansen. De Angelis on for Carlos. And I'll save the last sub a few more minutes. Don't want to risk an injury or playing with 10 late on. So let's just make sure we get to the last 15 or 10. And then we'll take a gamble if we need to. Though it's a Galaza corner. We might be in more trouble yet. Honestly, I don't remember the last season we conceded so many from set pieces. Becoming one of my biggest concerns here. Memic is knackered. I'm going to take him off for Aguiman. The main reason we have Memic in is that height for set pieces. And that's not worked out. As Yucalano gets the ball on the right. Played back to Jimenez. He finds the cross to Yucalano. Chips it to the back post for Teddy Ivanov. Just over the bar. Still 3-2 down. It's not been a vintage Premier League season. We're finding some struggles on the road, it must be said. And with the League Cup in 3 days, I'm a bit worried about fitness. Going to go attacking and gamble it now. We've got no choice. As De Angelis throws in from the left-hand side to Bernberg. Can he find a moment of magic? Into Ryan Adamson. Chance to shoot. Fooled everyone, including me and the keeper. All thought he was going to go to the far post. Puts it in at the near. Why are we checking for offside? Don't say someone's run in front of the keeper. Don't do it to me. Oh, you've got to be joking. Who's offside? Teddy Ivanov. Was never interfering at all. But they just don't want us to win this game. Though there are 7 minutes added on. We've been here before at this ground. Losing in extra time. And then winning it after the stoppage time's finished. Can we get the equaliser now? Despite the assistant referee not wanting us to. De Angelis puts it in. Ivanov's pushed. That has to be a foul. Even on the animation there, you can see the 2 hands in the back. That has got to be a penalty kick. And then who takes it and do they score it? Penalty review VAR. Penalty awarded. I think it's going to be Ivanov to take. It is. He's been in good form this season. He scored today. Don't let me down now when it matters. Oh, I was about to go mad. He did the little Panenka and I thought the keeper was going to stand there and catch it. And I was about to be irate. But it's in. It's 3-3. And there's no such thing as a bad penalty that's scored. Not my choice of penalty, but it works. And with the 7 minutes played, they were very quiet in fact. It's 3-3, and yet again, it's goals galore at St James's. Seems to be the trend of this save. We pick up another point on the road, and you know what? I'm pretty happy with that. Well, it's time for the Carabao Cup tie against Arsenal. The only side in England currently outperforming us. They're 2 points clear in the league. They're now above us in the Champions League as well. And we've gone back for our Teddy Ivanov experiment on the left-hand side. We are rotating because as much as I've not won this cup before and I want to, as I've mentioned, we've got to be fair here and prioritise for the club. And the Carabao Cup is the fourth most important competition of the four. I hate to admit it, but it is. So this is the team we've gone for. It is Logan McNaughton back in goal. How long before his first choice? Jan Carlos and Aguiman the fullbacks with Hansen joining Rakowski in the middle. Robertson and Ivanov play on the wings with Kivrakidis and Jimenez in the middle. And then up front is Karen Kranjic. Well, I'm looking for some form from both of them. Whichever one performs best will probably start at the weekend. Well, Arsenal, now getting a new lease of life under Darnell Furlong, have taken a similar approach to us. About half of the team out, though they've stuck with their first choice keeper, but some of the experienced stars like Riyad, like Saka, like Waneri have dropped out. And Claremont, their skipper, has been dropped too. But they've still got Luke Robertson up front. They've still got quality, including an original in Saliba on the bench. So let's get through the dressing room. Let's say, prove a point, boys. And let's also get Teddy Ivanov in his proper new position. The inside forward attack, it definitely worked, didn't it? Let's hope it does again. Because Arsenal away in the Carabao, I really want to win this competition. Please, just let me through to the semis. Well, nearly 20 minutes gone. There's been nothing to see so far as we give the ball away from a Jan Carlos throw-in. It's punted forward by Arsenal, and Hansen will deal with that every day. He finds Aguiman, who's already on a booking. Gives it into Jimenez, tries to switch, which is poor. Ivanov's never getting there. And the ball away is pretty good as well. Arsenal can break, but well nicked by Kivrakidis for Ashley Carr. Finds Kranjic playing in that target man role to Ivanov, to Jimenez. Good save by the keeper. Corner kick. I thought it was going to be offside for a minute. But that's the first glorious chance of this match. We've now got a corner with Kranjic. We've got some big men at the back stick, but we've not got Lewis Herbert. And the keeper's not as intimidated. Well dealt with by the Arsenal stopper. It's 0-0 with a quarter gone. We've got another corner 5 minutes later as Dion Kranjic is the man putting it in. Punched by Ledes as far as Ivanov. Has a go from 25 yards. Curls it just over. You can see what he was trying to do. He doesn't quite get it right. We're going to encourage the boys as we're straight going from the goal kick with Arsenal. It's a big ball downfield. Over halfway. Flicked on. Oh, it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. What a save, McNaughton. I thought it was in. I'd resigned myself. We have just been hit by a straight goal kick that has been flicked onto the centre forward. And he's gone in one-on-one. It's not good enough defensively. Carlos heads away the corner, but they're still going with Jung. He cuts inside. What a weird time to cut the highlight. I'm assuming it didn't go in. Half an hour gone at 0-0. Arsenal growing back into this. Well, approaching the break, we'd like to be all square, but it's a good Arsenal free kick in there. Aguiman heads away at the back stick. It was whipped with pace. Robertson can break down the right. Could we nick one on a stroke of half time? Into 2 minutes added on. Ashley Carr trying to turn provider down there. Into Jimenez. Cuts it for Aguiman. Oh, he doesn't catch that at all. Sort of floats it high, wide and ugly. It wasn't good. And Ledes is able to just clear from the goal kick, which this time we win the header with Kranjic. Carlos breaks down the left and stoppage time, just like it was at the weekend, becoming a key part of the game. Good cross in, away to Jimenez. Now Jorg Robertson. And he puts it above Ledes, who, to be fair, he spread himself well from 6 yards there. But Robertson very careful to lift it into the roof of the net. And on the stroke of half time, we take the lead at Arsenal. And maybe we're edging closer to success finally in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal have gone for the skipper Claremont off the bench. And we've asked the lads to do the same again, because I would take any form of victory here. Well, 65 on the clock. We're going to see out this highlight and then make changes, because the likes of Jan Carlos starting to struggle. Probably need to rest Ivanov too. As Aguiman goes for the switch of play to Carlos, one of those who will be off in a minute. Can he have one last moment of magic though? Jan Carlos towards the byline. Back to Kivrakidis. Inside to Jimenez. Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty? Oliveira's clipped him. We're checking with VAR. And Teddy Ivanov might have a chance to double our lead here. The VAR graphic is up and the penalty is awarded. Teddy Ivanov, you did it against Newcastle. You're not going to Panenka it again, are you? Please don't Panenka it again. I can't live with it. Oh, he doesn't. Why didn't you Panenka it? He just smashes it at Ledes in a corner. It's a great save, to be fair. And now we've got to think about confidence and performance as well as the actual fitness of the team. Carlos will come off for De Angelis. I'm going to take Ivanov off. Going to have to be Roy Curley, I think, out there. Just a slightly more defensive option, but bundles of pace. He'll be a winger on support. Ashley Carr, again, has had a stinker, but I'm going to leave him on this time. Kranic will come off for Joe Wills. Ivo Torres will replace Kivrakidis in midfield. And Aguiman will ideally come off. But for that, I can do it. Rakoski to right back. And this time, do I go Vite? No, I'm going to go Lewis Herbert. Got to trust experience in this situation. 20 minutes to go, 1-0 Southend. And to be honest, I'll take that result. The missed penalty, though, will it be costly? Well, it might yet prove to be because Arsenal are attacking down the right-hand side with 15 remaining on the clock. And their former youth player Lewis Herbert is there to clear. Only as far as Avila, who's not been closed down at all. McNaughton makes a really good save. But that's not what you want to see. Arsenal being given room to just run the length of the pitch without any challenge before a shot. Jung puts the corner in. It's headed away well. Gallagher's got it wide again. No, Claremont the skipper. Skies it high, wide and ugly. Please let us hold on. We're going straight from the goal kick. We can't get a breather. McNaughton plays out to Rakoski. Support down the right from Robertson. Plays back into Hansen. This is what we need. A few minutes where we just keep possession, just slow the game down. And ideally, find a way through for a second goal. Rakoski to Jimenez and Robertson. Ashley Carr's never getting on the end of that. But Jimenez wins it back. Great work. Support ahead of him. Curley on the left. He goes from distance. Maybe not the wisest decision, but he wasn't that far away. And at 2-0, this would be game over. But at the moment, I think we're going to have to hold on. There's 5 minutes remaining. We've got a free kick. When do we start time wasting? Ashley Carr, if ever you wanted a moment of magic, this is it. Had another stinking game. Can he finally show up? Oh, it's off the bar and Ledes gets a fingertip on it. I really thought that one's in. But Rakoski has put it in the second time. It's led to a goal eventually. Southend double their lead. They're going through in the Carabao Cup. We're into, I think it's our first semi-final. Maybe a second at a push. But we haven't looked like winning it when we've had these tough draws. And this time, as we head into 5 minutes of stoppage time, maybe it's our year. Maybe it's finally our opportunity. De Angelis gives it to Herbert and Torres. Joe Wills picks the ball up in the middle. And that back pass is pretty terrible. But McNaughton does well, anticipates. I will warn you already, the semi-final will feature in the next episode. Because this is now an opportunity. As Rakoski heads away. What are you doing up there, Herbert? Get in the back four, will you? Gallagher gets to the byline. It might not be over yet. Hansen clears away, but there's still pressure. Claremont nicks by Robertson. Wills can bring it away. Can we make it 3 on the counter? Make it a celebration. No, we can't. Gives it away when Curley's making a run. Now it's Arsenal's turn to attack. How have we got a game this frantic when we're 2-0 up? And now 2-1 up because we just didn't keep the ball. Terrible decision making by a lot of experienced players we've brought on. And now we're going to have to time waste. We're going to go fullbacks on defend. Curley is going to drop literally to there. We've mentioned it before. One right in front of the other. Robertson, support duty. Jimenez will be a centre mid on defend. And we're ending up holding on in a game where we were so comfortable a minute ago. It's just such poor decision making at the crucial times. We're going to slow the pace down. We're going to drop the line of engagement. And ideally, I'd drop one of the strikers back as well. But we don't really have the capability with what's left on the pitch. Arsenal have given themselves a sniff. I'm talking about when the semi-final will be in the next episode. And Arsenal are trying to stop us getting there. 2 more minutes of stoppage time to hold on. Have we done it? I think we have. Southend win by 2-1. Wasn't a pretty game. We weren't the best side. But we're through. We've got a semi-final in this competition at last. And with Sheffield United through as well. it looks like whatever draw we get next will be tough. But for now, let's look at the schedule, see when we're going to be back. Well, maybe it won't be the toughest draw necessarily in the Carabao Cup, because as well as Liverpool and Sheffield United, League One Portsmouth beat Manchester City on penalties as Zidane's disaster start continues. We're going to press skip draw. We're going to find out who we're facing together. Will it be Pompey? No, it won't. It's Sheffield United. So Liverpool get the easy passage to the final. Don't think, oh, this is Sheffield United, it's easy. They're 2 points behind us in the league with a game in hand. They're one of the best sides in the country. They won the Europa Conference League recently, and Russell Martin's doing a great job there with some very good players. So that is going to be a difficult tie, and it will feature in the next episode. I'm trying to work out when we're going to be back. I mean, I might actually split it into two, because you've got Liverpool and the Carabao Cup first leg, and then you've got Sheffield United in the second leg after deadline day. But Liverpool aren't that close in the league, so we might just go all the way to transfer deadline day and come back for that in Sheffield United. If not, I might do the first leg in Liverpool, just because this seems like it might be the year with the Carabao Cup. And of course, if we do get past United, we'll be facing Liverpool in the final, as they'll surely beat League One Pompey. If you enjoyed this one, though, 3 very different games, 2 tight and cagey performances, and then the usual box office thriller at St James's Park, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you'd like to see us do in January. We've got one massive signing coming in that we'll introduce next time. And we'll also get through one of the legs of the Carabao Cup semi-final. This surely has to be the year, doesn't it? If you want to stay up to date and find out if it is, then subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Make sure you stay up to date with everything across the channel, including a very special episode from the Coach's Head tomorrow. It's been a fun old season over there. Whether I'll be saying the same in a January transfer window in that one is a very different question, though. For now, you can find links to all the key playlists, the Twitch channel, and the football podcast up in the eye above. Come and join us for our pre-season predictions there next week. And I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time as we return with Southend United. And the Carabao Cup is edging closer. A new competition, a new trophy we could put in the cabinet for the club.